Welcome back to Vlogger's View, a look at life behind the lens. This is already episode 4. We are going on our 1-month anniversary of Vlogger's View. So I'd just like to take a moment, thank everybody who's listened, everybody who's subscribed to the YouTube, who's downloaded the podcast through any kind of means, who has supported us through Patreon. You're all the absolute best. I love each and every one of you, and I'm very excited because we are just getting started in what Vlogger's View was, and is going to be. So this week I'm back by myself. We had some scheduling conflicts of everything going on in our life, and we do have some great co-hosts lined up. I want to say my good friend Katie is going to be in next week or the week after to talk about growing up watching YouTube to be turned a YouTube content creator. But this week, I'm running solo. Had a great first co-host last week with my wife, Sarah. We loved that episode. And this week we're talking discipline. So it's going to be a little bit more serious, but in a good sense, because what we're here to talk about is how I look at how Sarah and I have been winning at daily vlogging and everything else. How do we do that? And it really comes down to one key thing. And if you couldn't tell by my spiel just now, that one key thing is discipline. So discipline is a huge part of being a content creator. When you build an audience, a community, a good viewership, the one thing they're looking for is to consume more of your content. So when you need that, when they want to consume more content, you need to be there to provide it. And however you decide to do that, you need to be consistent. There are monthly vloggers, weekly vloggers, daily vloggers, bi-weekly. That's why you've got, even in the different realms of the TV world, you've got weekly episodes, and then you've got mid-season breaks, season breaks, and you have different seasons. So now, for the next 4 months, you're going to see every Tuesday night, you're going to see your favorite show on ABC. But then for 3 months out of the year, they take a break. But then when they come back, every Tuesday night, that show's going to be there. And what it comes down to is security. All of us in our daily life, no matter it's personal, work, recreational, leisure, escapism, we're all looking for a sense of security, and that's where discipline comes in as a content creator for myself. Sarah and I made a huge decision when we decided to do daily vlogging. We knew doing it that we'd have to take, Sarah and I are very strong-willed and can have little bits of OCD. And so before, we've done on our old channel, the Fab 5207, we dabbled in weekly, and then we turned into two times a week. And we even for periods of time told ourselves our video has to be up at 8 a.m. on Fridays. So we would have them edited, post-production would be done, they'd have to be done and uploaded and ready to go, scheduled for 8 a.m. on Friday. So then I could tell anybody who was a follower of ours that, yes, every Friday at 8 a.m. you will see the Fab 5207. Well, going daily, we kind of knew that was going to be a stretch in itself. So we kind of dropped that whole, we guarantee as Brookharts a vlog every single day at 8 a.m. But the funny thing is through discipline and consistency, because that's the other half of this story, is discipline is one, and then consistency goes hand in hand with it, is typically Sarah does have our vlog up around noon. And it's funny, we had a good friend who also watches our vlog. I want to say this story is from when we were here. We moved here at the very end of July of 2017. This couldn't have been. It was probably before Halloween. But Sarah had already gotten to a rhythm of posting our videos around noonish. It would be strange. It's very few and far between our videos go up past 2 p.m. But what happened is our friend, we didn't realize this, was watching our videos every single day on her lunch break. So it was about the beginning, middle of October, and our friend Teresa actually texted us because something happened. I think we had a doctor that morning, or there was something going on with Eve or something. Sarah couldn't get the vlog up before around noon, and it ended up going up around 4 or 5 p.m. But what happened is our friend Teresa was so used to the consistent Brookhart Project upload that she actually texted and called us to make sure everything was okay. She was concerned that something had happened because she had gotten comfortable and had a sense of security in the fact that the Brookhart Project was uploaded before noon every day. And we had 2 months of solid consistency. So when noon came and she went on lunch and the video wasn't up and she hadn't seen us interacting on the internet too much, her security was gone, and then she got a little frightened and said, something. I wonder if something happened to my friends. She reached out and we told her, there were things going on, nothing serious, just time consuming and unplanned. So the vlog was going to be up a few hours late. But ever since that moment, I realized, wow, the fact that we do daily, the fact that we're consistent, the fact that we're disciplined in this means a lot to the people who give us the time to listen to us, to watch us, and to be involved with us. And that we almost owe it to them to keep that up. And it's a win-win because the listeners, the viewers, the audience, the community that we build feels safe when we're able to consistently produce that content. But at the same time, that produces faith in our audience, in us. So then it actually does us good if we want to grow our community and our audience members and our viewers and our friends through the internet. It grows that number if they learn that we're consistent. I just realized, because I'm all thrown off, because if you're watching this on YouTube, you're not looking at me on video. There was some things going on with our equipment, and Sarah was with friends, so she had the good camera, and I did this later because I'm back to a disciplined, constructive, consistent running schedule for my marathon running, that I'm actually doing this in the later evening of the hour, so there's no good place to film it with lighting, so I'm actually doing this with no camera. But we didn't even do the Peter rambles. And for anybody who's new to the Vlogger's View, this is right now it's a 3-section podcast. We open up the podcast with something called Peter Rambles, which I've heard from friends. Yes, I'm looking at you, Swish and Flick, who have basically said this entire podcast is a Peter Rambles, which that's what I want it to be. But what the Peter Rambles is a little section in the beginning of every podcast that's talking about a piece of content that I can't get over for the past week. It's something that it's been itching. It's a YouTube video, a podcast, an article that I've just been rereading, re-listening, re-watching over and over again all week, because I want to share that with you. It does not have to pertain to the topic at hand, even though I'll try my best to make it pertain to the topic at hand. And this week is by somebody who's been a great inspiration to me when it comes to changing up how this podcast, if you were a Park Hopper podcast listener, you'll notice there are some big changes between Park Hopper podcast, my former podcast, and this Vlogger's View. And a lot of those came from a man named Matt Diovelli. He's got a great and amazing minimalist content creating, interviewing podcast and YouTube. He's a great man and a genius too at this art. But one of his videos, his podcast is called The Ground Up Show. And this past week he posted Ground Up Show 83 with a man by the name of James Clear, who just came with a new book, and they were talking about habits. And it was greatly influenced by this this episode is greatly influenced by this topic, but that's why I bring it up. It's perfect for a Peter Ramble. So this is like an hour and a half long podcast, but I'll let you know, if you don't want to commit to that, the link will be down below. Hop over to the 25-minute mark and at least watch or listen to 15 minutes of it. They have some great stuff that they have going on. But Ground Up Show, and they're talking about habits and how to break them or how to create them. And kind of comes down to the topic of this podcast, where it's a big thing for that is to be disciplined and to be consistent. But James and Matt go into talking about a few great things, a few one-liners I kind of jotted down here to talk about when it came to this podcast. And one of the things that James pointed out, and it really struck me, was that you have to look at life in seasons. And that when it comes to your personal and your work life, whatever season you're in can affect that. Right now, James is married and he doesn't have any children, so he knows at 5 o'clock he should stop working and go spend time with his wife, but he also is aware that right now he's not in the season of being a parent. He's not in the season of having children. So if his wife is busy and he's not in the season of being a parent, and he needs or wants to work past 5, he could do what you would call an unhealthy habit and work until 7, 8, or 9 o'clock at night. But because he takes advantage of that when he can, because he knows at some point this season will come to an end, and there'll be a new season. And let's just say this: the next season may be he's a father and has children to take care of, where 5 o'clock comes, he has to stop what he's doing, go home, leave the office, and be a father. So it's kind of interesting. You don't think about that. I kind of had the reflection of maybe a more common sense is is like when you're in elementary school, then you're in middle school, then you're in high school, then maybe you're in college, then you're an adult, then you're married, then you have a family. Like those are kind of the seasons. But I think you can break those seasons down even to a deeper level, and that really does help things like consistency and discipline. I used to work third shift, as I've said in previous podcasts. I worked third shift in a hotel at night. I went to full-time college during the day. That was not the season to be a consistent content creator on the internet. My wife and I were still a team then, along with the three of our friends for the Fab 5207. So we were able to put up a once a week YouTube video, but I was 1/5 of it. I couldn't be 1/2 of that of an account like I am now with Sarah for the Brookhart Project, or even solo like the Vlogger's View. It wasn't my season. It wasn't the season of content creating for the internet. It was the season of crushing it, hustling, and putting in all the late hours and getting no sleep. As the years went on, things changed. Job opportunities opened up. College degrees were earned. My seasons changed, and then slowly it was the season to be a content creator. Now I know every day at 5 o'clock I'm done. I know every Friday, Saturday and Sunday I'm not going into work. I know every night from, say, 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. I should be asleep, and I'm able to be asleep. So right now is the season. I don't have children yet. I don't have crazy schedules. Now is the season to strike. So that's where you'll see. That's why people, when I first came out with the podcast, some of my friends through the YouTube were like, you and Sarah already do so much. How can you do even more? And this whole today's episode of Vlogger's View is my answer to that question, is because we are disciplined and we are consistent, and though we do a lot, the consistency and discipline makes it easier, makes it actionable, makes it happen. Another one-liner that came out of this podcast with Matt Diavelli was that nothing destroys success like success. And now this was a quote from a colleague of theirs, but it reminds me of something that Walt Disney said. Surprise, surprise, me coming in with the Walt Disney quote, but come at me. I'm okay with it. Walt Disney at the 10th centennial, which is the celebration of the 10th anniversary of Disneyland, he talked about all of the great successes of Disneyland, the first theme park in the world that saw such wide success. They were revolutionary in the entertainment industry, and it had been 10 years, and they were kicking butt. But what does Walt say? He says, we're just getting started. We're not going to sit on our laurels. We're going to take our successes. We're going to keep pushing it. And that's kind of what this quote, where the man said, nothing destroys success like success. Because when it's hard, Say Sarah and I come up with a niche YouTube video that gets us a bunch of views every week, bunch of subscribers every week. It's hard because that, if you look at the numbers, is a success. It would be hard to stray away from that. But then if I don't stray away from that one type of video, that one consistent, repetitive equation, how do I know where that kills the complete creative drive for Sarah and myself? And my friend Sean from Negro Orlando, the YouTube channel, talks about that a lot, that like in the YouTube world, especially in Central Florida, it's easy. And I don't want to talk too much on this because I'm going to have him on his own episode where we're going to discuss this in great detail. But he talks a lot about how it's so easy to make Disney YouTube videos because they're more likely to produce numbers. And he likes to push himself in the creative realm and make different YouTube videos, or Central Florida, outside of Disney, outside of theme park videos, because he knows that to a certain degree, to a certain style of content creation, Disney YouTube is quote unquote easier. You don't have to be as creative at times. And I know it's strange coming from myself, who goes to Disney World 6 to 7 days a week, but there's a whole different demographic and discipline behind what Sarah and I do in our daily vlog that happens to be going to Disney, rather than what Sean is referencing in his statements there. But I digress. Well, me and Sean, I want to get him on here in the next 2 or 3 weeks. I think that's going to be a great and fun episode. He's a great man. If you haven't checked out his YouTube channel, I'll put the link for that down below. You need to. It is good stuff. He's a good guy, and he makes some fun and different content. Let me see. I think I went through everything that the Peter Ramble was supposed to. This is why I think I got distracted, because Peter Ramble is kind of working in tandem with the topic at hand for this this podcast. The last thing I have for the Matt Diavelli video is they reference something called Goodhart's Law, and I looked this up, and it's from an economist from I think it was the late 70s. He didn't say this exact quote, but an author, a fictional author, heard the quote and kind of made it more personable, because a famous quote by economists might feel a little dry, might be a little wordy. So I'm glad this one author kind of switched it up and made it more marketable to the world. But the Goodhart's Law states, when a measure becomes a target, it ceases to be a good measure. And that needs to be printed on the forehead of every single content creator, and it's what everybody cries about who had seen success on YouTube, podcast, MySpace, anywhere, Twitch. They all talk about how you don't need to look at the numbers, you don't need to look at the views, you don't need to look at the subscriber counts, you don't need to look at the comments and the thumbs ups and the thumbs downs. You don't need to look at that, because when a measure becomes a target, it ceases to be a good measure. And I've stated last week, I'm a data analyst, so I love to look at the numbers, and I look at it, and it's kind of a gift and a curse at the same time, because I love to dissect the story of the numbers. I can tell you pretty consistently if Sarah puts up our video at 10 a.m., at 11 a.m., at 1 p.m., at 3 p.m., what day of the week it is. I can kind of gauge and be able to predict with great certainty and great accuracy what that video is going to end at midnight, how many views that video probably should have. But that's just because we've had 448 daily vlogs put up, and I'm a numbers person, so I can digest that. But at the same time, I need to make sure that my measure doesn't become a target, because it's no longer a good measure. I think Sarah and I do a great job at not caring about the numbers too much, and because of that, that's what has made the measure of certain numbers in the YouTube realm still a good measure, because we haven't turned those into targets. I can still speak to them, I can still spiel to you all day in the geekiest fashion in great detail about how if we have this kind of content at this time, in 4 hours it's going to hit this number, in 8 hours it's going to hit this number, and within 36 hours it's going to be dry. We're not going to get a single view from 36 hours on through 36 days post-publishing. But that's because I'm a numbers dude. I am a geek. I was a mathlete in high school. I just love to look at these charts and tables. I don't know why. I bore myself when I talk about it or think about it, but I just keep going back to it. But that's the quote. Goodhart's Law states, when a measure becomes a target, it ceases to be a good measure. That is Peter Rambles for the week. It is a Matt Diavelli Ground-Up Show, episode 83, featuring James Clear. They discuss his new book. They discuss habits. They discuss discipline and how to change. The one thing that really made me think is they talk about flossing. Nobody flosses in the world, pretty much. There's a very low percentage of people that do floss. But James Clear says if you take the floss out of the cabinet, out of the drawer, out of the pantry, and put it next to your spout in your bathroom, you're more likely to actually begin to floss, because what it is, you're not in the habit of seeing it. It's put away. It's not in sight, out of sight, out of mind. You're never going to do it. But if you constantly keep it next to the faucet, you're slowly going to readapt, and it's going to be there, and you're going to start flossing. They also talk about the living room. If you want to cut out hours of your TV time, saying you're thinking you're watching too much TV or too much YouTube, you're definitely not watching enough or listening to enough podcasts, because you and your friends and family all need to be downloading Vlogger's View and listening to it on repeat. But they talk about living rooms in modern day, I don't want to say America, but modern day world, in first world countries. You go into a living room and it's completely designed to be ergonomically comfortable and to get you focused on TV. The couches, the light, everything is geared around your TV. So if you want to cut the habit of a TV out, you can just move the TV out of your living room, or change the location so it's not comfortable for you to be sitting on your couch and facing your TV. And Matt Diavelli was like, oh my gosh, I need to do this. I'm going to try this out, and I need to do the floss thing. So I'm hoping by next week's Ground Up show he'll have an answer to us if he has begun flossing, because maybe that's something I need to do. This vlog, this Peter Rambles, has truly been a ramble. We need to move back to the consistency talk. So back to being consistent. What has been successful for Sarah and myself in a daily vlog sense of consistency? Well, today was daily vlog 449, I think. So we have literally not missed a single day since July 28th of 2017. So when you're listening to this, I have good faith that we have not missed a day. So even if you're listening to this in December of 2018, you can do the math. Google it, just say how many days since July 28th, 2018. Or if you have an Alexa, you can go, hey Alexa, how many days has it been since July 28th, 2018? And she's going to go, well, it has been 453 days. Know that that's how many Brookout Project vlogs have been put out. That has been a wealth of trust building between our audience and us. And I truly mean that. The messages we get, the letters we get, the emails we get. I never thought that would be such a vital piece of having a vlog. I know I've heard about other vloggers talking about it, and I experienced it myself watching Casey when he would daily vlog. I would be looking forward to it, and a day that he would miss it, I would feel like a little bit of something missing it out of my day. But I'm talking about Casey Neistat. He's got 10 million subscribers. I'm not talking about Peter and Sarah Brookhart. But no matter your size, if you are trying to build an audience and a community, consistency will build the trust, and that's what we've done. Other things that come with consistency and discipline, it gets easy. It really does, and that's what the whole podcast that Matt Develli and James talk about is the consistency in creating a habit makes it easier. So when people go, oh my gosh, you guys have done over 400 daily vlogs. How on earth can't you just take one day off? Well, no, now we can't, because we've gotten this down to a great and easy and entertaining science. Kind of like how you don't think about brushing your teeth in the morning. If you met somebody who never brushed their teeth, first of all, where have they been? You need to get them to the doctor, to the dentist, and figure out what's going on. But they would go, you brush your teeth twice a day, every single day? That must drive you nuts. How do you do that? How come you don't forget? What happens if you're not by your toothbrush? Oh my, then their head starts spinning, but it's the same concept. You've been doing this your whole life since you were a child. It's just second nature. So now, with going 448 daily vlogs in, it's almost becoming second nature to Sarah and myself to be able to look at what we're doing for the day, know what and when and how to shoot, and to know how to edit that in post-production. It's gotten fairly easy. And then, kind of like how when you brush your teeth every day, you don't just feel bad. Say you're spending the night at someone's house, you stay out too late, and you crash at your buddy's house, you don't have a toothbrush, and you feel gross the next day. Let's all be honest with ourselves. When that happens, half the reason is because it is gross, and the other half the reason is because it's just you're out of your normal zone. You know, it's like when you go to take a drink of water and you think it's water, but it's orange juice. It throws you up because you're mentally fixated on that already. Your body and your mind knows you need to brush your teeth every morning. So when you don't, it's not just the fact that you got morning breath all day. And I apologize, the podcast has gone to this down this road, but it's turning out to be a great analogy. But it's also your body is used to that motion. I'm not a smoker, but I hear that psychologists say that half the reason why smokers like to smoke is it's the physical and mental fixation. It's the habit. It's the comfort to them. So when you have a goal, to kind of bring this back in and rein it back in, when you have a goal or a task that you want to grow or learn or do, no matter how terrible or not good or not well-rounded you are at first, do it and do it consistently, and you will eventually have that growth, and then it will eventually become second nature. And when you don't do it, you're not going to feel fulfilled. To bring back a different video, Casey Neistat brings about that too. When he talks about running, he runs every single day. Now he's a monster. But when you run every single day, and he says, even if I don't go out there and do 1 mile, I feel weird. My whole day is off. I don't feel right. It's like my chemicals, my emotions, my physics it's all off. I just don't feel right, and I feel like that's how everything works. The other part about the discipline and consistency is to think about now when you've got your habits down or you've got a good set of habits and you're looking at these and you go, wow, I'm really impressed with myself. I started running 3 days a week. I eat, only red meat once a week or whatever you choose to do, whatever your discipline or your habit is, you're feeling good. There's always that point of inflection where you need to look back at yourself and think, am I doing the right things or am I doing the best things? So yes, it might be great that you're running 3 days a week, but what happened, like maybe your original goal was to go swimming 3 days a week or to do CrossFitting and cardio, like to mix it up. And what I'm talking about is, say you've got habit and you've got a vision. My vision is to be a daily vlogger or a family vlogger for the rest of my life. But say I was posting, the Fab 5207. This is a great connection, actually. The Fab 5207. I knew I wanted a daily vlog back then, but it wasn't the right season. We were doing once a week. Then we were doing twice a week. That's great. I was calling myself a YouTuber. I was a content creator. That was great. But for me to be a content creator was probably priority 4 in my life. And so priority 4 was getting fulfilled, and I was doing a great job at it. It was becoming second nature. Didn't need to think about it. Just we would plan every week what was going on, what we could do, how we could market it, how we can show the Disney store in downtown Chicago on State Street. Then we go to Michigan Avenue. Then we talk to friends about it. Now we go to the premiere at the fancy theater for the new Disney show. Then we're going on vacation, so we have to do a Target trip to plan all of our goods. We had it down, but that was still priority 4. And so the important thing is to also keep pushing yourself, pushing the boundaries. So just because you've gotten it down and gotten good at it doesn't mean you shouldn't push it away now. Because at the end of the day, I didn't want to be a once a week YouTuber. I didn't want to be a twice a week YouTuber. I wanted to be an every single day YouTuber. So though I had that habit and that consistency and the trust, people trusted us even with the Fab 5207 that we'd be there on Fridays. And then eventually we would be there on Tuesdays and Fridays. They know that they'd see Disney World on Friday and they'd see us on Tuesday in a home vlog in Chicago doing a Tune-In Tuesday. For anybody who's here, please leave a comment down below on the podcast or YouTube if you remember Tune-In Tuesdays, because those were the jam. We got to be creative. We had to be creative because we were in Chicago, on the south side of Chicago, not in Disney World, but we were supposed to make Disney content. Before we get into Validate the Vlog, I know this is going to be a little bit shorter of a podcast, but trust me that I knew this was going to be a little heavier and a little bit drier, but important content. I wanted to do this. This was one of the podcast ideas. It was like one of day one sit down. I'm going to do Vlogger's View. This needs to be talked about because when it comes to being a vlogger, this is super important, is to be disciplined and consistent. So one piece of actual, and it works great, this podcast idea happened this past week in my own personal life, is Sarah and I realized we've gotten so good at the daily vlog. Now we're incorporating the podcast and we're incorporating certain healthy lifestyles and doctor's visits and friends visiting and needing to see people. We realize we need to hone in on our calendar. So now our new habit is going to be really utilizing the calendar apps in our phones. We're going to prioritize things like getting good sleep, consistent sleep, and training for something, the little thing I'm doing called the Dopey Challenge, which is 13 weeks away. I need to be consistently running, so I'm going to be disciplined and consistent. I have a schedule. I'm going to run 3 shorter, quote unquote shorter, because like this week they're 5 miles each, and then tomorrow morning when I wake up, I'm getting up at 5 in the morning on Saturday to go run 10 miles. So every Saturday is going to be a longer run, so we're going to have that consistency of a running schedule that we have to. There's no questions now because we're 12 weeks away from running 48 miles over 4 days is what I've signed up for. I'd love to hear everybody's opinions on that crazy challenge, but I'm doing it. I'm running a 5K, a 10K, a half marathon, and a full marathon in 4 days. So discipline and consistency is about to become the number one thing in my entire life, because I can look at my calendar and tell you when I'm going to work, when I'm recording podcasts, when I'm sleeping, when I'm eating, when I'm running, when I'm going to the parks with friends. I literally have next Thursday scheduled down to go to Animal Kingdom with my friend Tyler, because I know he's off and I haven't seen him. So it's a crazy season in my life to bring that concept back, but a crazy season in my life where I need this structure to make sure I accomplish everything. And I know I can, and I know Sarah and I both will be able to, but it's the discipline and the consistency that we're pushing on ourselves to be able to accomplish everything that we're trying to. So let's hop into the Vindicate the Vlog. So my buddy Tampa Movie Guy had some great questions he sent over, and I'm just going to read. This is going to be more of he sent me a good little statement here. He goes, daily vlogging requires more discipline than producing a weekly or twice a week vlog. Did you realize what a commitment it would be when you set out to vlog daily? Did we consider how long? Yes, we did consider the commitment when we said that we were going to do daily. We never really talked about an end date or how it would look. So we knew what we were getting ourselves into, but we didn't know at first what kind of mental and emotional how taxing would be. And I don't want to sound, it's not taxing, but like there was an adjustment that we had to make because there was a physical and mental toll that we paid. So it just has to be the thing of you can't like, and that's honestly, that toll is why we wanted to do a daily vlog, because we want to push ourselves to find the happiness every day and to not end up sitting on the couch Monday through Friday and then wishing the week away to get to the weekend. We wanted to make sure every single day was like a Saturday to us. So in that sense, it was tolling and it was a commitment, but we knew going into it that it would be. But daily vlogging is such a big thing that you don't truly know how you feel or how you're going to take it mentally and physically until you're in it. And we do have days, less as time goes on, but there are days where it's like, all right, what are we doing today? What can we do that's like just entertaining or fun? What kind of day are we looking to have? Like, do we need a relaxing, fun day? Do we need an adventurous, fun day? Do we need to go do things like grocery shop and get the gas changed and the tires filled, kind of a thing? But I'd say we did do a good job. We did realize what kind of a commitment it would be, but like I said, you don't truly know how it feels until you're in it. But I think Sarah and I are great at it now. We've got it down pretty good coming up. But I think I had a realization earlier today that we were at 448, and I kind of want to do something fun for the 500th daily vlog because I think that's cool. Tampa Movie Guy, did you consider doing it less frequently at first? I think there was such a honeymoon stage when we first moved here, because it wasn't like we were in Chicago and we woke up one day, let's do a daily vlog. It was, we're changing our entire life. We're moving away from family, starting a new job, moving from our favorite city in the whole world to our favorite place in Disney World, not by family. It was such a revolutionary chapter, like end chapter and a new chapter in our life, that I think that's what made it easy to keep it frequent and every day at first. I would say, did we consider doing it less frequently? I wouldn't say at first, I'd say at second. I think that when the honeymoon kind of went away after the holidays, maybe January, February time of this year, when there wasn't always fun events going on, we kind of had those moments where like, wow, the park closes at 7. There's nothing going on. We don't want to go to Disney Springs for the 6th day in a row. Nobody's gonna want to watch the same. We don't want to produce the same 6 vlogs in a row. What do we do? But then we started doing fun things like go to City Walk, go bring Eve to a resort and walk around with a dog at the few resorts that allow dogs, go to the beach on the weekend, go do fun, different non-Disney things, get a SeaWorld pass. So I think it was that second stage, but it was a growth opportunity. It was growing pains. It was not, oh my gosh, this vlog is so much to do. It was, how else can you bring joy to your life that isn't the exact same 7 months that you've been living? Last one isn't a question, but a really well appreciated and thankful comment. It goes, as a viewer, I really want consistency, and so many vloggers get off track and lose viewers. I appreciate the Brookhart's commitment to posting daily. Tampa Movie Guy, it is people like you, when we met you and your daughter in the park, and your consistent support through all of our endeavors that helps us keep it going. It's very, I don't feel, Sarah and I, and I'll speak for her because she's not here, I know we both feel that we are not in this alone now. Now that we've done this, we have our community, we've got our group of friends and our people that we know. I know every single day, Tampa Movie Guy's, going to download this podcast. On the weekends, he's going to catch up on my vlog. I know my friend Marie F. is going to be in every single comment section of every single vlog. I know the Gillipsies are going to be watching. They're going to be listening to this podcast when it posts on Sunday. I know that there are people all around the world. Like I have a friend in Abu Dhabi who listens to us and watches us. I know they're there now. And now that I know they're there, I don't feel alone. And it's, some people may think that that's pressure, that view that as like, oh my gosh, we have to get a vlog up for the Gillipsies. We have to get a podcast out for Tampa Movie Guy. He's going to be mad. He's going to be upset. I don't view like that at all. I look at it as like we're hanging out. We're pals. We're friends. We're family. We want to do fun stuff. We want to show you the good in the world. And that's what it's that consistency and habit that, like I said, it almost comes like physiological. I feel fulfilled now when I'm doing these things on a consistent, regular basis because I know that my friends are enjoying them. So if you are one of my friends and we haven't been in the comment section, haven't been in the tweets and the DMs and the Facebook groups, and you want to, come on over, come chat. I love making new friends. I love it when I finally meet somebody in the parks or in the comment section who tells us not only have they been watching or consuming us since day one over a year and a half ago, but they've been watching us since the Fab 5207, like my friends Earharts, who now have come to Disney 5 times, I think, this year, and we crash every one of their days on vacation. That's where Sarah was tonight, was crashing their vacation day. They're like family to us now. And they started off as Fab 5207 subscribers, turn Plain Crazy, our old button shop subscribers, turned Brook Art Project fans, turned now we're in the same location when they come visit. So now we can actually be together in person. It's those relationships that really prove that consistency and discipline is a great way, is a great thing to do, and it has great endless payoff at the end. So I'd like to thank you for joining me this week on the Vlogger's View. I didn't want to go too much into it other than I did. And I feel like because I was alone this week, I did not stop talking. I feel like I'm going to take the world's longest breath when I'm done recording here. I do apologize for any YouTube viewers for the blank screen or the photo of the entire time. We're going to make sure we can get that. I really enjoyed the editing process and the filming process we did last week with Sarah, where we had 3 different angles of the camera. It's just that consistency in the schedule keeping needs to also incorporate a good location with proper lighting and equipment. So we will be moving forward with that whole way of doing the YouTube. So if you are a podcast listener and you want to see my face talking, and when I have co-hosts want to see us interacting, we do have the YouTube page, the Vlogger's View with the apostrophe S. It's the best way to find that on YouTube. And we will be producing video versions of these podcasts on a consistent basis after this week. So thank you and have a great week, and we look forward to next week.